Welcome back to A Better Life. I'm your host, Hank Kennigan. In this segment of our show, I am proud to introduce our congressman from the 6th District, District 6, Congressman Garrett Graves. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I want to call him Garrett. He's my congressman, but
please do.
Been knowing him a long time. He's a sweet brother, a man of character and integrity, and he'll come address our business luncheon from time to time. And but got reelected, right?
We did. Yes.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
So this is, you said No Shave November?
No Shave November. It was a great idea at first, but all these colors that come in, I'm not sure.
What's all that white stuff?
You know what? I think there must have been a bleach accident somewhere that I don't know.
Well, we got a lot to talk about, Congressman, and I'm just telling you from, you're doing an awesome job for the Baton Rouge area.
Thank you.
District 6, and we're proud to and we know you're going up there and with the issues on your heart and mind every day regarding Baton Rouge and District 6. So
a lot to be done.
All right, the Corps of Engineers, we want to talk about 2 flood control projects. Number 1, the Comet Diversion Canal, the long, we were talking about it, we've been trying to get this since the 80s, I think. And then the long discussed levee system at the west shore of the Lake Pontchartrain. Won't you tell us about where we are and the millions of dollars, hallelujah, that you were able to get for the funding of these projects? Tell us about it.
Sure. Well, look, this is great news and it's historic. What happened is even before the August 2016 flood, we started working on trying to secure funds for the COMET project and other flood protection projects, and we were making some progress on COMET. But when the flood happened, it really brought this realization to the forefront that people are going to be there with their flood insurance checks or with the Restore Louisiana checks, and they're going to be saying, do I want to put this back in my home that flooded with 6 feet of water, with 8 feet of water, with 2 feet of water?
And then it happened again next year,
that's
possibly.
Right. And that concern, there's that lingering concern that it was going to flood again. Thinking the same thing about their business, thinking the same thing about flood insurance rates. So we had this confluence. We had the flood, we had people that were getting checks, we were having debates on the flood insurance program, reauthorizing it. And I just kept saying, gosh, we have got to do something. We can't, on the flood insurance program, we can't just have a defense where we send checks after a flood.
Yes.
We need to have an offense that actually prevents people from flooding to begin with.
Yes.
We need to make sure that these projects that have been logjam literally for decades, as you know, are funded. So we started working about 5 different angles trying to get funding for the projects. And we started working through, and our first idea, it worked, and we got money. And our second one, it worked, and we got money.
Come on.
Our third one, it worked, and it got money. We got to our 5th one, and so the COMET project, the Corps estimates it's about $380 million, somewhere around there, $390 million. We ended up getting that one fully funded. The West Shore project, $760 million. That one dates back, is actually even older than the COMET project, 44 years old. We got that one funded, $760 million fully funded. But we ended up, so when you add up those 2, plus there's another one called East Baton Rouge Area Flood Control.
Yes.
Does work on Beaver Bayou and Blackwater Bayou in the north part of the parish.
Right.
Ward Creek, Jones Creek, and Bayou Fountain in the southern part of the parish. That one's another $255 million. It's been around for about 21 years. But when you add it all up, it's about $1.4 billion, the Corps of Engineer funding we got. But we were able to get funding through 4 other revenue streams. We have a total of $3 billion.
Wow.
So this is the most money that's ever been available for flood protection. But the important thing is it gives people the confidence that those flood insurance checks, the Restore Louisiana checks, can be invested back in their home and business safely.
Yes, because, I mean, I raised my family in Central on Beaver Creek. And the house that we raised our family in never flooded, but and of course I sold and I live in South Baton Rouge now for a number of years, and I called the homeowner. I said, you flood? He said, 5 feet of water, and never flooded before. So I mean, this is much needed, and I'm telling you, I want to thank you from all the constituents here in Baton Rouge, Central, everywhere that were flooded, Livingston, everywhere that is much needed, and I'm sure the levee down in Pontchartrain is much needed as well.
Look, there were a lot of people to thank. We literally met with the president on down, 25
Yeah,
different meetings
yeah.
and calls, and so a lot of people to thank.
So, your leadership in the House Water Resources Committee advanced the needs. How's that advanced the needs of Louisiana, as you just discussed? I'm sure.
Yeah, you know, you start getting into the internal workings of the Congress, which is a crazy place. But that's the subcommittee that has oversight jurisdiction over the Corps of Engineers.
Oh, wow.
And so it causes us to spend a lot of time with the political appointees, with the military leaders and others that are running the Corps of Engineers program. And we have not been big, I guess, advocates of the Corps of Engineers. We've been very frustrated with them for a long time. And so because they're in front of us so much, we have very candid conversations about the need for better performance, for getting these projects moving forward. And so we have been able to really work through some Corps of Engineer reform ideas and stopping this ridiculousness of having projects in the Corps of Engineers study process literally for decades.
Yes.
And starting to actually turn dirt and deliver results, deliver these projects, whether it's coastal restoration, hurricane protection, flood control, navigation channel and port improvements. All these things are so important to Louisiana and the nation.
And I think people get so frustrated with the rules and regulations that's been imposed over the decades now, and that you've had the opportunity to do a lot of undoing of those regulations and really free the process up.
Well,
right?
we have, and you know, one of the major things that people don't really think about often is the Corps of Engineers, like a lot of other government entities, they have a monopoly. They don't have any competition like you would have in private business.
Right.
And so,
right.
and so there's nothing that really incentivizes them to go faster, to be more efficient, to be more innovative. And so we started making some changes to give them a little competition and say, look, if y'all can't do it fast enough, if you can't stay on schedule, on budget, then we're going to give the money to the state or to the local government, to the levy board, and let them do it. I'll tell you, we're beginning to see some changes. We also passed a law that begins a process of moving the Corps of Engineers out of the Department of Defense and puts it in a civilian agency where it can be the most important mission that agency handles.
Well, good people watching A Better Life, Congressman Garrett Graves has really represented us well there, and we're going to continue our next segment with him. And listen, if you need to get in touch with Congressman Graves, we'll put it on the screen here. His phone number, a website, there you go, garrettgraves.house.gov, 225-442-1731. And we'll be right back for our next segment, and Congressman Garrett Graves will be right back with us. So please stay in tune.